Today, we're diving into the story of a new kind of tool, a tool for thought, one that's designed to bring some serious order to our digital lives. This is the story of Google's NotebookLM, its incredible promise, a hidden, almost fatal flaw discovered by its users, and ultimately the path to truly mastering it. You know the feeling. We've all been there. You're working on a big project and you are just drowning in a sea of files, 100 open tabs, countless PDFs. You're looking for that one key fact, that one quote, and it's gone, lost in the noise. It's this exact digital chaos that a whole new kind of AI is trying to fix. And the solution is a really elegant idea called grounding. So instead of an AI that pulls its answers from the entire wild and often wrong open internet, a grounded AI's entire universe is just the documents you give it. This is a game changer. It means every answer is relevant, it's only as factually accurate as your own sources, and this is the best part, you can instantly check its work with a citation. And that brings us to Act 1, the promise. This is where we see the dream of NotebookLM, to create a totally personalized universe of knowledge, built from your stuff, to help you understand it all on a much deeper level. Think of it like your own personal research assistant. You just upload your PDFs, your Google Docs, websites, you can even drop in transcripts from YouTube videos, and bam, it becomes an expert on your stuff. It can spit out a 5-point summary of a 50-page report, create a full FAQ, or even generate a podcast-style chat about your research. It's all about connecting the dots you might have missed. And this is where it's fundamentally different from a standard chatbot. Those things roam the entire internet, which means they can just make stuff up. We call those hallucinations. NotebookLM is designed to prevent that. Its world is your world. The answers are grounded, they're precise, and they're reliable because they come straight from the material you already trust. And that was the promise that got so many people excited. But then, things started to get weird. In the forums, in community chats, these whispers started to pop up. The most dedicated users, the ones really pushing this thing to its limits, they found something unsettling. A ghost in the machine. And so we enter Act 2, the Peril. And it all boiled down to this one central question. What happens when the perfect assistant, the one that's supposed to know your documents inside and out, seems to forget parts of them? That dream of a perfect, personalized universe was about to hit a very strange, very harsh reality. And then, the moment of truth. It was laid out with stunning clarity by a Reddit user named Jess Askin. Just a simple sentence that pointed to a massive problem. The perfect assistant? Well, it wasn't actually reading the whole book. And here's what that looked like in practice. People were uploading a, let's say, 150-page document. But when they asked the AI about it, it would sometimes confess that it could only see, say, pages 97 through 149. It literally couldn't see the beginning or the end. And that led to incomplete summaries, flat-out wrong answers, and just a ton of confusion. I mean, how can you trust an assistant that has selective memory? But that confusion actually sparked a deeper investigation by the community. It turned out this wasn't just some simple bug. This was a clue to how this machine actually thinks. It was time to pull back the curtain and unmask the process. The answer is a technology called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. And look, this isn't a flaw. It's the actual architecture. A RAG system doesn't hold your entire 500-page book in its active memory. No way. Instead, when you ask a question, it first does a super advanced search to find the most relevant little snippets from your documents. It retrieves those, and then it thinks, generating an answer based only on that small pile of information. It finds, then it thinks. Another user, Fort Patches, came up with the perfect analogy for this. They said, think of it more like your document is cut up into little pieces, like thousands of tiny index cards. When you ask a question, the system doesn't read every single card. It just finds the handful of cards that seem most related to your question and hands only those to the AI to read. So this is the big reveal, the key takeaway. NotebookLM isn't an AI with a perfect photographic memory. It's a ridiculously powerful search engine that's hooked up to an AI. And that insight, that reframes everything. The limitation isn't a bug, it's a feature of its design.
And this was all confirmed right there in the open on Reddit by a member of the NotebookLM team. They explained that, yeah, the initial search looks at everything, but the final answer you get might be written using just a small piece of that. It was this incredible moment of transparency that really helped turn all that user frustration into genuine understanding.
Which brings us finally to Act 3, the path. Because once people understood how it worked, they started developing new strategies. This isn't a story about a broken tool. It's about learning to work with a powerful new kind of intelligence. It's about mastering your assistant. So a much better workflow started to emerge. Instead of just asking one giant broad question, you guide the AI. Step 1, ask it to generate a detailed outline of your sources. Step 2, save that outline to your notes. This saved note now acts like a persistent memory. And for step 3, you point the AI back to that note and tell it, okay, now expand on section 1, then expand on section 2. You're basically helping the retrieval system find the right index cards at the right time. And this new approach led to a whole set of pro tips. Garbage in, garbage out. So always use high-quality sources. If you've got a massive document, chop it up into smaller thematic files. Ask really specific questions. And absolutely use that Save to Note feature like it's your external brain. But most importantly, always click the citations to double-check the AI's work against your original source. And the path forward isn't just about user strategy. The tool itself is not some finished product set in stone. No, it's a living, evolving thing, a codex that's constantly being updated and improved, a lot of times based on feedback from the very community that's pushing it to its limits. And we can see this evolution happening in the roadmap. The team is rolling out some powerful new features like interactive audio overviews, a deep research function that basically automates the first pass of your work, and support for way more file types like Google Sheets and Word docs. This thing is getting more and more capable. And for the real power users and for teams, there's now NotebookLM Plus. It's a premium tier that just massively increases the capacity. Way more notebooks, way more sources, more audio generations, and it adds critical stuff like team collaboration and enterprise security. It's a pretty clear sign this is becoming a serious professional tool. So in the end, the story of NotebookLM is really bigger than just one app. It's a mirror reflecting our own journey with these new kinds of AI. It teaches us that true mastery isn't just about using a tool, it's about deeply understanding it, which leaves us all with a pretty big question to think about. As our tools for knowing evolve, how must we?